Is 2026 still a good time to start an Airbnb, or is the market over? If you're stuck with a manager and you're underperforming, you are not alone and you're leaving money on the table. So we built a beginner-friendly, numbers-first system that replaces hype with clear instructions that you can run yourself. We're super premier hosts, genius partners, and operators that have scaled from 1 to over 70 properties in just 3 years. And we have no course to sell you. So today, you're gonna get the playbook, regulations, numbers, financing, setup, pricing, plus a realistic timelines and outcomes. In a minute, I'm gonna show you the exact calculator inputs that we use to test any deal before we personally purchase a property. If you want help fast, grab a free listing audit at our website, which is staylevelup.com. So, is 2026 your moment in Airbnb? Here's the truth. Rates, saturation, and shifting travel demand. They don't necessarily punish beginners, they punish unprepared owners. Prepared owners win because they move only when the numbers work. Your edge in 2026 is a cautious, criteria-driven approach that buffers for uncertainty. No hype, no race to the bottom. You want to start by setting a risk budget, your cash cushion should your worst case plan come to light. Now, you want to exit that deal if the revenue is slower than projected, right? But you want to do it right on the buy side of things. So commit to 1 hour per week of focused learning and 1 micro action per week that builds momentum. And in a minute, I'm going to show you our calculator inputs and how small actions can make your first offer on a place stronger. Let's talk about learning fast and implementing even faster. So people don't win by sitting on the couch, they take action. Momentum beats perfection every single time. And reps build pattern recognition. And pattern recognition makes you more money, right? Because you're finding that niche. So we run a simple 4-week free curriculum using YouTube for free. We do YouTube deep dives. We share our public, documents and what we think about markets. Each week is a sprint loop, which one targeted lesson, apply 1 task or 1 document or 1 takeaway from our videos. For example, you comp 3 true peers in a single submarket and note their average daily rate, their occupancy, and seasonality. You want to build a comp bank or competitor bank that you'll keep refining. This compounds fast. The goal isn't theory, it's speed to clarity. So small actions now will make your first offer way more stronger. And your comp bank becomes your unfair advantage when you start underwriting properly. So picking a market and your target guest avatar, what the heck is that? Let's talk about it. Your favorite destination could be your advantage if it matches guest demand. So alignment with guest needs drives reviews and pricing power. You want to choose a location in a core guest avatar. These could be like families, couples, or business travelers are the top 3. Targeting families or groups, and what they do is they share the cost of that vacation. We normally get higher average daily rates. And that's winning in many markets in driving because they split nightly rates across multiple rooms or sections of the house, right? Shortlist 2 to 3 areas you would personally invest in. I think that's important. If you don't want to go there, that's probably not a place you want to invest in. And then you want to map guest needs to the property type. So parking, kid-friendly, workspace, blackout curtains, quiet bedrooms. Then layer in your seasonality. So plan a weekday strategy and a weekend strategy. In a highly seasonal market, your midweeks are gonna be unfilled off season. What's your strategy to fill those gaps, right? You don't wanna chase market trends that don't fit your guest avatar. It's gonna beat your hype every single time because 5-star reviews come from meeting specific needs, not generic amenities. A great market plus the wrong guest focus, it will stall your occupancy and force you to discount. All right, let's talk about regulations. Taxes, regulations, everyone's favorite. A great deal in a no STR zone is a bad deal, right? Compliance determines if you're able to operate at all and at what capacity. So start with your local short-term rental rules, cap on permits, permit categories, density requirements, minimum stay requirements, taxes, HOA requirements. Your job is to remove surprises. Go to the city and county's website, read the ordinance language, then call the clerk to confirm interpretation as well as timing. You want to log everything, highlight everything with clear licensing and realistic timelines, because if you have the wrong timelines, your overhead is going to go up. You want to get rid of anything that's too restrictive, and you want to verify enforcement history. So if licensing will take you months or years, probably not a place you want to be. If taxes or minimum stays are way too high or restrictive, that changes your whole revenue modeling. Regulations are not a footnote. They are the first thing that shapes your buy box and underwriting. All right, if average daily rate trends are sliding, you have to plan your buffer. Oversupply and lower rates crush returns. So check market health signals. You want to look at number of listings that are active over time, right? The occupancy trend, average daily rate trend, seasonality swings, and compression events that spike the demand. You want to pull in comps, look at actual analytics. Using tools like key data or AirDNA is okay. They scrape data versus primary source data. Make sure you remember that. And you want to take out outliers, gaming the system. They may have too many owner stays, right? Haircut revenue assumptions for 2026. Let's talk about building resilience into your plan, and that's going to keep you from overpaying. So walking away is a win if the math doesn't math. It's not about proving if a deal works. It's about proving it survives in the slower months without panic and discounting that tanks your brand and possibly gives you the wrong guests staying in the house, right? If you're not screening properly. So when we talk about checking the local housing market, we want an entry price, and the path of prices shape downside as well as your exit. So you want to track days on market, price cuts, inventory, and any visible pipeline of new builds competing with you. Create Zillow, or you could do Redfin, save by zip code, and watch 30 to 60 day movements. More supply puts longer days on the market, usually means negotiation power, right? You want to predefine your walkaway threshold. So your maximum price, which would probably equal your maximum monthly amount that you could afford. You want to inspect the house and repair tolerance, and you win by buying with margin and realistic expectations, not by guessing future appreciation. That's not how it works. So you have more than one door into hosting. So capital, credit, and timeline shapes your best routes. Options include vacation rental home loans. We personally use DSCR loans quite a bit. Partnerships, rental arbitrage, and seller financing, more creative deals. List your constraints. So your down payment, credit profile, seasoning of the money, and desired speed to get started. And then you want to compare terms, reserves, and recourse. You want to pre-decide on one or two variable options so you don't waste your time on loans that you can't even close on. Alignment matters more than creativity. The best path is the one that you can execute on clearly. How can I buy this house? How do I know if I can close? You want to get your pre-approval early. Pre-approval unlocks serious offer conversation. No one's going to have a conversation with you if you're not pre-qualified or pre-approved. So you'll want to know your actual buying power. And agents and sellers are going to now treat you like a closer instead of a tire kicker. These things like W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements, credit reports, they all go into the process. And you want to save letters, keep your credit moves minimal while you're closing. And with approval in hand, your agent can move faster, especially on underpriced listings, and you can negotiate from a power of strength. So build your deal team, start lean. You don't need to be an STR guru, but you just need the right local signal. So local insight plus access to the correct data beats generic advice. Like for example, Joshua Tree is an amazing market. Is it? Says who? And based on what data, right? You want to start lean. A realtor with STR awareness, a reliable cleaner, a handyman, hospitality photographer, and in my opinion, the best performing property manager in that market. That's who you want to hire. Line up cleaners and vendors before you close so your setup is not delayed. And partner with your property manager that you choose from the first day so that way you have no downtime. All right, underwriting. Like an actual STR operator, let's talk about it. You use 5 to 10 comps. You want to take average daily rate times occupancy and give yourself a haircut off of that. You're a brand new listing, you will most likely underperform, especially in the first quarter. Over budget your expenses and lock a cash on cash threshold. If it misses, you walk from the deal. Execute the launch flywheel. Offer volume, fast diligence, avatar-led design, professional photos, complete the listing, and dynamic pricing guardrails. And you want to look at those things bi-weekly at minimum. So protect, track, and set expectations. STR plus an umbrella, right? Separate finances, track occupancy, average daily rate, RevPAR, 5-star rating, and your cash on cash return. And then you want to tweak these things quarterly. So in conclusion, numbers first wins in 2026. Grab a free listing audit at staylevelup.com and comment your next step. Subscribe for more systems to level up your short-term rental game. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.